Hello media arts, photography, and HDV students. Welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to teach you a little bit about taking pictures and editing your photos using Google Photos. I'll also show you how you can do a little bit of phone editing also. I'm going to be shooting with my iPhone, but it's going to be similar across different devices. There's a lot of options to use. So first off, what I'm going to do today, oh, and by the way, what day is it? I have no idea. I think it's the 53rd day of social distancing. I don't know, I'm trying to keep track. Thank you for filling out your survey to show your progress on your project. I really appreciate that. One problem I'm coming into though is that when I see that you've completed stuff, or you at least says you've completed stuff on the survey, when I go to look at your work, I don't see anything. So make sure you're taking those slides and you're adding them to the presentation that was created for you in Google Classroom. Otherwise, I can't check it on your work and I have no idea what's going on. So make sure you're including those. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a picture of this Little League field behind me, just so I can show you a picture that's gonna have a lot of dynamic range, right? So we're gonna have some shadowy areas under a tree back here. Okay, you probably can't tell right now, but the sky behind me is actually fairly blue and fairly white. It's all washing out in this video, but when you see it on my phone, I'm gonna be able to control those things just a little bit better, and you're gonna see what we're talking about. So let me go ahead and take that picture. And so here we go. I'm going to pull up my phone. I'm going to take a picture, and I am going to shoot right here of the sky, and I'm doing a couple of different things. One, I'm looking at it, and I'm going to click on it first, and I'm going to adjust my brightness. So if I darken it, I get more texture in the sky. If I bring it too bright, I'm going to lose those details, and it's all about finding a good medium range. We're going to do some edits later, so let me take a picture that you're going to notice maybe isn't the straightest picture, and that's totally okay because I am going to make some changes. All right, I'll also maybe shoot it ones like this. I'm going to play around. I'm using my grid lines. There we go. Let's put the horizon right on that bottom third line, see if that looks interesting. And I'm going to experiment with my tree lines too. This large tree over here I think kind of makes an interesting frame. So if I come back to include that a little bit. Okay, so now I've taken a couple pictures of something and I'm going to go ahead and do some edits. So I'm going to show you a couple things. First off, not everyone's going to be using an iPhone, but you do all have access to Google Photos. So when you're logged into your school account and you go to the waffle and you click on Google Photos, you're going to be able to access that where you can add photos. So from your phone, if you upload it to Drive first and then download it to your computer, maybe you have a Mac and you're airdropping it, however you want to get that file onto your computer, go ahead and get the picture that you took on your phone onto your computer, and then you're going to try and make some edits by uploading it to Google Photos and then adjusting some things. So let's hop over to Google Photos and I'm going to show you how you can make some edits. All right, so here we are in Google Photos. I've already copied the picture from my phone to my desktop of my computer using AirDrop, but you can do it a variety of ways. So I'm just going to drag that picture into Google Photos, and hopefully you've accessed that before. If you haven't, it's that waffle in the upper right hand corner next to your little avatar icon picture. You just select Google Photos and then you can drag that photo in to start making some edits. So here is the view when I'm looking at the image, and it gives me my location. It actually gives me some other information too. But when I click that edit button, I'm going to be able to make some changes. Now the first tab offers filters. So you can see a picture is going to change pretty drastically by clicking on those. And then by dragging the slider left and right, you can choose how much of a certain effect you want to do. That's fine. That's a kind of neat way to make some changes. But I want to show you how you can have more control in your changes. So the two options when you click on that center tab are light and color, and then there's also pop. But we're not going to get into that. I just want to talk about light and color today. So as I'm dragging my slider left and right, it's changing a lot of things. You can see how all those different settings are going to change. So we're going to get into how you can do even more controlled details by just selecting each individual aspect. So first is exposure. Notice how when I take it to the left, it's going to get darker. When I take it to the right, it'll brighten. Contrast is going to show you the difference between the dark areas and the light areas. If I go all the way to the left side, you don't notice it as much. The further right, the more you're going to notice those changes. Highlights refers to the brightest areas of your photo, and I'm going to kind of play around with that a little bit. I don't need it too high because it's already a pretty bright day, so by dropping those highlights, it'll look okay. Shadows, if I go to the right, I lose my shadows and I bring them back by coming to the left. I'm looking at my darker areas of my photo to see how dark I want those to look. For the next section, we're going to look at how you can change your whites and your blacks. So similar to shadows with the blacks, the further left, the more pronounced they'll be. And with my whites, I want them increased, but not so bright that I lose detail. So notice as I went all the way up, you lost all those details in the clouds. And by just dialing back a little bit, they look great. That last aspect is the vignette, meaning like the center area that'll have the brightness and then it falls to shadow. There aren't a lot of controls over vignette in Google Photos, so I'm just going to leave it alone for right now. All right, the next thing we're going to look at is color. And we've got a few different things. So the first one is saturation. Now, saturation is something that a lot of people go overkill on. Don't use it too much. If you drop it all the way to the left, it's a black and white photo. It gets rid of all of your colors. I like to just increase it to the point where my colors really look vibrant, but don't look fake. And so what I'm looking at is the greens, and those greens really can look weird. All right, the warmth is going to kind of show the amount of yellow and blue in your photo. And since I want to emphasize on the sky, I want it to be a little bit cooler. So just under the middle there is going to make that blue look nice. The tint is going to bring out the red in your photo. And I don't really want to accentuate too much of the red. It's going to be close to middle. The next feature is skin tone. Since there's no people in the photo, it doesn't make much of a change. We're going to leave that alone. And then you can see the deep blues. And so whenever you have a sky photo, I really like to increase the deep blue as much as you can without making it look fake. That's kind of the whole goal of editing. So that's how you control light and color in your photos. Now I'll add just a little bit of vignette that looks nice. Vignettes sometimes look great on portraits, not as much on a landscape photo. So I'm just going to show you that. Okay, when you're finished with your photo, you can also crop it and adjust the tilt. Notice this picture turned out great as far as being straight. You notice some of the others that I took weren't. You can always adjust that a little bit just by tilting it. But I'm going to show you a different feature in just a moment. So if I undo my edits here, you can see what my photo looked like before I started editing. And you can notice there's some pretty big changes as far as bringing out the color. Now, whoops, you can't, if you hit that undo edits button, you can't bring them back. So bear with me, I just discovered this. And I'm going to go ahead and quickly remake those edits so you can see what they roughly look like. So let me do this in fast motion here to try and bring back some of that vibrant blue sky. Adjusting all of my sliders just to get the photo how I like it with saturation and warmth. That's a pretty good imitation. Okay, so now I'm done with my photo. I hit done, and it's going to just save into my library in Google Photos. If this photo was crooked, or if I needed to crop out an element of that, I actually like the phone version. So if you're shooting with an iPhone, the edits can be pretty convenient there. And let me show you why. So now we're over on the iPhone, and even though the colors haven't changed, I'm just going to focus on crop for right now. And by hitting straighten, see those grid lines come out? You can make sure that those vertical lines line up with natural vertical lines in your photo and horizontal lines. So I'm lining this up with my fence, with the edges of the building, and you can see that everything's nice and straight. And when I hit done, I'm good to go. All right, so that's it. Pretty simple how you make some edits, whether you want to use your phone or use Google Photos. Whatever photo editing software, you can control things like light, color, and the crop and tilt to your images. So experiment with that. Good luck. Make sure to add all your work to your presentation so I can see where you're going with that. I miss you guys. I can't wait to see you again. I'll see you in the next video.